Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. So, I accidentally muted this in the first try, so I'm going to try again. So, my words aren't going to match my mouth. But you are about to see a case here. It is a roller coaster. You believe one thing, and then a whole bunch of other stuff happens, and it twists and it turns, and I don't know. You are emotionally involved in this one until the very end. So, here we go. I'm sorry I muted the first one. It
All
happens.
right, we can proceed.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Um, so Judge, this is a five co-defendant case.
This is,
Um,
you said a 5 codependent case?
It is, Judge, so
Right.
there are a lot of moving parts, and so I'll try to distill it down the best I can.
All right, but this is the only defendant on this calendar, correct?
Actually, Mr. Collier was also, but we did a consent bond
Okay,
on Mr.
okay.
Collier.
All right, go ahead.
So, Judge, this was a joint investigation between the U.S. Marshals and Floyd County, looking for a particular target. They had tracked that individual to an address on North Avenue in Scottsdale. This is June 19th of this year. And eventually they end up arresting an individual named Dontel Brown. He leaves this residence. Officers attempt to stop him. He ends up hitting patrol cars. He hits an officer. He drives off at a high rate of speed, etc. They're able to pit him. He runs. I think he ends up being tased. But ultimately, they do a search warrant at this residence, and there's a small amount of fentanyl, some marijuana, a firearm, a money counter, and IDs for Mr. Brown. His girlfriend, Carlia Edwards, also lives there. So law enforcement doesn't charge Ms. Edwards at that time. All the contraband is found in the garage. And so at this point, since this investigation has sort of taken a turn, right? Because Mr. Brown is actually not the original target. So they leave her there. During subsequent jail calls after Mr. Brown is arrested, he asks Miss Edwards, what did law enforcement get? And she says just that little bit. And Edwards also says that they did not get the things inside the kennels. There are some dogs present at the location. And in any event, so he instructs Edwards to go to the apartment downtown to get the suitcase and take it to Uncle Stanley. Now, there is a black Silverado at that North Avenue address registered to this defendant, Stanley Johnson. So that gives law enforcement his identification. Brown instructs Edwards how to get into the apartment step by step and where to find the suitcase. So based on those calls, a second search warrant is conducted at the North Avenue address. They don't find any addition. This is on the 24th of June. They don't find any additional drugs, but they do find $5,000, which they seize. Then they go to this defendant's residence. He is observed driving by in his red pickup, but he doesn't stop. And so they subsequently stop him. He says he was given the suitcase by Mr. Brown via Miss Edwards and lets them go and get the suitcase. At this point, so it has 3.8 kilos of fentanyl in it, 26 grams of cocaine, 21 grams of meth, and there was also a kilo press. We know from interviews that kilo press was actually inside the suitcase, but at this point is outside of the suitcase. So Mr. Johnson had to be aware of the contents at that point. And so for whatever reason, law enforcement doesn't arrest him at that time. I think maybe they thought he might have not known until he had taken possession of it, what was there. But officers do go to that downtown apartment and seize 6 firearms and a safe which contains $36,000, kilo wrappers, paperwork for Mr. Brown, and a box for the firearm that was recovered during the first search warrant at North Avenue. And there are pictures of Mr. Brown all on the walls. So then again, during subsequent jail calls on the 25th, law enforcement learned that Mr. Johnson had also obtained money from Mr. Brown in that suitcase. He used $25,000 of it to pay an attorney for Mr. Brown's representation and gave $2,000 of it to Miss Edwards' sister so that she could be bonded out. Law enforcement obtained a search warrant for his place and found an additional $42,000, a majority of which was seized from the basement in the furnace. And obviously that money had been in the suitcase, but had not been disclosed to law enforcement by Mr. Johnson. And there's some additional investigation, Judge, that does not involve him because he was obviously arrested at that point. Judge, I believe that.
Hold on. There's more. There's a twist. There's a couple twists coming.
That's I guess the defense in this case is going to be he didn't know, et cetera, et cetera. But we have obviously monitored a lot of the jail calls made by Mr. Brown in this case, and it is clear that Mr. Johnson is in fact honestly kind of involved from the get-go, that Mr. Brown instructs Miss Edwards to get in touch with Uncle Stanley and make sure that he is involved in whatever it is they're up to and moving the things around and dealing with the drugs. Like he has a plan for what to do with those drugs, who to sell them to, et cetera. And it is clear from those calls, which I have listened to as well, that he is going to be part of the distribution of these drugs while Mr. Brown is in custody. He does not have a significant criminal history, Judge. It's just some traffic offenses. He has a false name from 86 and a suspended license from 90. But we are obviously concerned, especially by the nature of the drugs involved in this case, obviously, and that I guess that he was not forthcoming with law enforcement if his defense is in fact, I wasn't really involved with that. I believe also per the officers, he told law enforcement that he looked inside the suitcase and used some of the fentanyl, but it scared him. So he took the rest of what he had taken from the suitcase and stashed it in his closet. And that Brown had called.
Moral of the story, they all need to shut up. Like they all just need to shut their mouths a little bit. Anyway.
So 88 Waters, what is your position on
Judge, I'm sorry, Judge, I know it's long and convoluted. But at this point, Judge, we would ask the court to deny the motion.
All right. Ms. Helton, I'll hear from you.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, a little bit of context about Mr. Johnson and his relationship to the co-defendant in this case. The co-defendant, Mr. Brown, is the son of Mr. Johnson's deceased best friend, who Mr. Johnson does recognize that he felt a sense of loyalty and the need to be present in his life that he completely acknowledges and appreciates was misplaced in this situation. Judge, Mr. Johnson completely understands the severity of these allegations.
Yeah, I understand that. We all have the people in our family that don't always make the best decisions. And then we try to help them, and it just gets us, in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. She said he understands the situation, and he said, I don't think he does. I really don't, especially when the wife asks for what she's about to ask for.
And he is eager to resolve this case, and completely understands that this is a situation where he made the wrong decision regarding an individual who he did have a close relationship to. Further, Judge, Mr. Johnson was completely compliant with law enforcement. As the state mentioned, he was initially contacted while he was driving and was so cooperative and forthcoming with law enforcement that officers did allow him to drive his own car back to his house and retrieve the suitcase in question on his own. He's not a risk to reoffend, Judge. He completely understands that he made the wrong decision in this situation and is eager to resolve this case. Judge, a little bit about Mr. Johnson. He is 68 years old, and as the state mentioned, he has a very limited criminal history. He does have some severe health concerns that he would be able to better address out of custody. He has type 1 diabetes, for which he requires insulin, and also has a biopsy scheduled for July 18th for potential prostate cancer screening. Judge Mr. Johnson has very strong ties to the community. He is not a flight risk. He has been in Georgia since 1985 and has resided at the same address in Stone Mountain for 20 years with his wife. He and his wife have been married for 43 years. She is present on Zoom and will be giving a statement in support of him. He has 3 children who are all college graduates and 11 grandchildren whose ages range from 2 to 14 years old. All of these family members reside within a 2-mile radius of him. Mr. Johnson was employed for 20 years at USA Package Store on Buford Highway. He has since retired, but occasionally returns from time to time to assist and would absolutely be willing and able to return to working there if it is required of him. Judge, Mr. Johnson and his family prefer a cash bond. So for those reasons, we would be asking for a cash bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. And lastly, Judge, his wife is present on the Zoom, Miss Lynetta Johnson, and would like to give a statement if I could please.
All right, Ms. Johnson, if you can unmute and swear you in. All right, if you can raise your, well, I'll let the intern do it. Go ahead.
Ms. Johnson, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you may lower your hand. And Ms. Johnson, without discussing the case, can you please tell us why you believe Mr. Johnson would be a good candidate for bond today?
So as she was doing her thing, Sarah there, I was like, oh man, she could have been more emotional. She could have been more forceful. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I wish she. Then I look. She's an intern. She's learning. So I think she did a fantastic job for this first one because it is a little crazy. All right, now we listen to the wife.
Well, Your Honor, I believe he would be a good candidate. Well, I know he'd be a good candidate because he is the father of our 3 children, and he was determined to have them graduate from college. They all went to HBCU schools. They all graduated. He is the best grandfather. He cooks for them on Sundays. Everybody come, all 11 grandkids, all of our families, all of them are married with their families, come over. We have a big family reunion. So everyone is devastated by this because this is not his character, Your Honor. He has, like she said, he has a lot of ongoing health conditions. He's 68 and he told me he has to start taking another blood pressure medicine in jail now. They give him a second because his blood pressures keep going up, Your Honor. And she said when the economy got bad a couple of years ago, he went back to work because we both retired. He went back to work to take care of our family. He's always supported and protected us. He's never had any illegal activities or dealt anything with drugs, Your Honor. So we are pleased, Your Honor. I respectfully ask he be allowed to return home and he can get support he needs from his family, and we can work through this and resolve this issue because this is not him, Your Honor. And everyone knows him in the neighborhood. Everyone knows Stanley Johnson. He blows the horn. I mean, this is not his character. Thank you.
All right. I am going to set bond in this case. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $35,000. It will be a standard bond, cash, property, or surety. There is to be no contact with any of the co-defendants in this case, no possession of any weapons or drugs, and he must report to pretrial services within 72 hours. All right, are there any other conditions that the state would request?
No, Your Honor, that'd be fine. Thank you.
All right, all right, all right. So anyone who was here on the Johnson matter, if that is the only case you were here for, you are excused at this time.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh. He got $35,000 bond. We see murderers who don't get a $35,000 bond. I mean, okay. She did make it sound like, he's the family caretaker, and someone got in trouble and he stepped in to try to fix it. But what if the prosecutor was right? Remember at the beginning when the prosecutor said, you know, on the jail call, he said, go this to Uncle Stanley. He knows where it goes. He knows who to sell it to. He knows this. He knows that. I mean, what if he is the real kingpin and that was all a lie? I don't think so, because he worked at that job for 20 some years. Never got arrested. I mean, I think he was a good guy just trying to help someone in his family, and he just did it wrong. I don't think he was going to sell those drugs. But man, the jail calls, they got to stop. People have got to stop making jail calls like that. It's not that hard. Please. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye, guys.